cookie, bre. Bro. Mungnyeom. Bro. Sabonim K. Kunye. All right. Good morning, everyone. Let me
Morning,
just
sir.
switch over
Morning,
here.
sir.
Hello,
You may want
everyone.
to spotlight yourself, sir.
All right,
Sure.
welcome everyone. This morning, as I was mentioning just previously, Region 2 has their Dan Shimsa, so we might be kind of light today because we usually have a very strong participation from that region. So leading into our presentation this morning, this is the 25th Silver Mudoin session. It's been over 2 years now since we started this program. So after about the first year with feedback from participants, we added additional time to this session so that we could highlight members of this age group to share pertinent information that can help the Silver Mudoin practitioner. So we've had guest instructors today. We're going to have Lawrence Greenberg Sabanim, who's going to be sharing some insights. We thought this was important because it's one thing to come from somebody younger speaking to people that are more mature as opposed to somebody who's living that life. And so this has had great feedback from the participants. So with that said, we'll highlight Greenberg Sabanim for his presentation. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to work on a Qigong. There are many Qigongs. If you look at the history of it, or even in the present time, right now there are about 80 different methods of Qigong, styles of Qigong. This one, this morning is there's 3 sections. This is the first section. There are 5 exercises. It's not so much a regulating of the breath, like many of them are, inhale, exhale. There is one. As far as the breath, or one side comment, I found over the years that when people hold their breath, they become tenser because they are actually physically holding it. And in this case, we do not do that. And probably in all cases, think of it as pausing the breath, that you've not holding something physically tightly, that you've just ceased that operation, and then you will reconsider it again. I think Kenya Sabanin mentioned that a little bit when he was talking about this. This is mostly going to work on the shoulders, rhomboids, collarbones, etc. The upper body, some twisting of the spine, which is always good. I believe it's called synovial fluids, go up and down the spine, much stronger when you are twisting them. And as a side thing of twisting, in the traditional Chinese medicine, the twisting of the body is considered to be very good for cleaning the lymph system. So if you'd like to follow along and stand up with me, we can get right to it rather than waste a lot of time. I will, as much as possible, talk through it. Warm up is extremely important in all of these exercises. And by that I mean speed control, the word control being the key word. So if I lift my arms at this speed, everything else I would do would be at this speed. Even if I make a mistake and move the wrong arm, I don't come and go to the other side. I continue my correction with the same one gup. That's in order not to break the continuous part of the meditational part of the relaxation. So we'll start with shoulder width, knees slightly soft. We make what's called like a horse riding stance. So the knees should be over the feet. We don't want the knees slightly in, slightly out, nice and over the feet. Abdomen is relaxed, not inflated, but relaxed. Chest is down, shoulders are down. And head, when they say suspended by a string, you don't push it up. It's being held for you. So we'll slowly raise the arms to the front. Don't raise the shoulders, relax the shoulders. When we get here, we will lift and pace the hands forward. For this exercise, the arms will be extended, not stiff, but extended, considering that the energy will be flowing from the center of the palm, which is traditionally in Chinese called the Ladgung point. It connects the meridians, the perineum, etc. I'm not going to go through all of that, but it's a very strong point. So we will push the floor away with our feet, and that energy will rise up through the body and out through the hand. Now, most of this exercise is the arms and hands are this way, and we will be thinking of and attempting to extend the joints. Even though there's not a real joint in the shoulder muscle will come out. The joint in the elbow will try to extend. The wrist will extend, the fingers, etc., all trying to extend out. And it's going to be a little bit of a concentration thing in some points. So the first exercise, these are very simple, is to, and you can do this with me, keeping hand position and keeping the energy forward, slide up and down. When we get to this position, caution that you don't allow this to go too far back, because when we get here, we'll take a little breath, and as we exhale, we will expand the chest, the front of the body, the armpit, back. And then we'll slowly return to our neutral position and pause for a moment. Then we will do the other side. Again, the energy is going out through the arm, through the palm, and down. And then open. And very slowly, at the same speed control, back to the center. And relax. We would normally do that 6 times. Time constraints would probably do each one only 1 or 2 times. But 6 times would be the best. This one here could help a great deal with Wakuk. Same position, up, hands. I'm going to turn and circle this hand out to the side. When it comes even with the alignment of my upper body, I will not make it go any further. But I will then turn the torso, pushing forward and pushing out as far as I can go. Try not to allow the foot to turn and the hips to go too far. You can pump a little here if you'd like. Be careful of the front hand losing its integrity and concentration. And then back in. Neutral position and pause. Energy is still forward. Open the other side slowly. We get to the line position and open. So I don't know about everyone else, but this is my better side, so I go a little further. Let's do that once more on each side. Again, feet are pushing the floor away. Don't let the concentration fail. And front hand and rear hand are pushing out, extending. And then back to the center. Relax. And one more. Breathe normally. You can hold it at the open position as long as you feel is comfortable. And then relax. So if you've noticed this one, if I turn all the way to this position and step forward, I am here. So it's very helpful in that area. Maybe you can feel now your shoulders are opening a little bit. This next one is a slight learning curve, so bear with me. We will come to the same position. From here, the hands will stay in this position. We will bend at the elbows, touching the hand back to the shoulders if possible. From here, leaving the hands in this position, raise the elbows. If you can see the back, press the hands together. Now open out and push. And from here, energy in the feet, pushing the hands forward, bring them back to the front. So let's go over that one more. This is a very good one for the shoulders, upper body, neck. Rise up, back, lift, touch the palms, open, push. You can either drop and push or push from here. And you will feel different parts of the shoulders being affected by those different motions. And then back to the front. There's a slight variation to this one. Let's say we're going to go to your right, my left. I would turn this foot before I begin about 45 degrees, not 90, but about 45 degrees, attempting not to allow the waist to move. And we'll do the entire exercise again. And this time push out. And we may feel a little difference down through the inner thigh and the leg. As we bring the hands forward, you'll find that the hand on your right side is not quite forward. To change it, we merely turn the foot, and that brings everything back into alignment, showing that a subtle movement, such as the foot was doing, can change our body alignment and our spine in that area. Let's do one more on the other side. Turn the foot, lift, touch, open, push. Back to center, straighten, and relax. So again, the one up is a little faster than it should be. I think in this next one, we'll do some breathing and slow it down, but I just want to get through all of them if we can. There's only two more in the set, and then we have a couple other things at the end. This one is be familiar, but there's a slight difference to it. So we would turn the palms up and sort of holding something in our arms this way. From here, lift, keeping the shape, and then slightly to overhead. When I get to here, and then down, elbows lead, palms, wrist, fingers. So for this one, we can inhale, pause as necessary, exhale. This can become a very calming and relaxing exercise, as many Qigong exercises are. But this set is a little more strident than many, a little more of a hard Qigong. One more. We get to the bottom, because we have and Yang, we need to balance. And down. Inhale, open the chest, close the back. In the practice of this, they do not do what I'm going to say, but you could add this to it for an exercise is to touch the forearms, and you'll feel a difference in your upper back and your scapula. And relax. So we have one more in this set. I left out the salutations and the closing. Those are formalities. As I say, there are 3 sets to this particular Qigong. So this one is very similar to this, what we know is this. But there's a little difference and it changes things to some degree. So we'll start here, open to the side. We'll rotate, this hand's rotating in, and we're keeping a little curl shape here to the arms and the hand. Now, when we lift the elbow and curl the arm over, you will feel this open up very quickly. You can even put your fingers here and do this. So it's a in and up circling, and you will feel the rib cage open. And then so one question would be, I imagine, or that I have gotten is, why slow? Well, because something is happening all the time. Tendons, ligaments, fascia, etc. And as everything turns and twists, it is all being affected. Weight shifting, the body, and in this way, when it's slower, you can pay more attention to the journey rather than just the destination. And then back to neutral here, and a little gathering and a washing down. So those are those 5. Qigong, which we do, Mupalang, is a Qigong, better known, or not better known, but widely known as 8 pieces of brocade, or Bodajin. These are all very good for your health, meditation, breathing. Because they're not strident, when I was younger, I thought it was dumb. But I found out that it's not, that it's very beneficial. And one of the things I use with my classes is that this helps you to maintain the connection that we've lost from our infancy. If you look at a baby lying in a bassinet or a crib, very relaxed and totally in awe of the fact that his fingers move, or his toes are there, or all these little parts of the body. And he actually has a stronger connection to himself or herself than we do as life passes. When's the last time you said, oh, that's my middle toe? So we need to stay connected to ourselves all the time. For healing purposes, balance, many other things. It's very important. So the journey, the slower the journey, the more leaves you can see at this time of the year. If you're going 80 miles an hour, they're kind of nice, but if you're going 25, they're very pretty. We'll do one more shoulder exercise. That's from another Qigong. I'm just pulling it out of there because it's very, very good. It helped me a great deal, and some of my students. This is the coolest in particular. And hopefully there'll be some help for you. And then we'll do a little Qigong thing and a short explanation. So this is very simple in motion. Hands will just hang straight. And we're going to lift them out so that the fingers are down, the thumbs are down. And when we do that, we're going to twist the body. And we're going to stay in this position and turn the hands palm up and then fold both of them in. And the back one may not be too happy with that. And then relax down. And then we'll do the other side. Again, wakuk. Turn and fold in. Now, you may have trouble in the back. You may not. Everyone's different. But when you get to this position, sometimes right here, you'll get the real tightness. And the more you do it, it'll go away quicker than you believe. And then here, I can already feel all this being tightened here. And it really shouldn't be. It's just because of the way we live in our daily life. So that's a simple one you can do anytime. Just a little exercise, and it's going to take some relaxation and a few moments. So one hand, probably left hand, pointing forward, the other hand slightly up, just so that the fingers don't bang with each other. And we're going to be here and just breathe gently in and out, allowing the body to open the hands so the body is doing the work. And just very relaxed, concentrate on the breathing, relax the, let me digress. We talked about belly breathing. I believe Bernard Sabanim did a very great class about things like that. And it's been discussed by Master Corrales and Kenya Sabanim. There's a little test you can do on yourself to see if you're actually doing the diaphragmatic type of breathing, Taoist breathing, or if you're just popping your stomach out, because it's two different things. So back here, above the hip bones and at the bottom of the rib cage, there's a little hollow if you put your thumbs in there. Put your thumbs in there. And you may have to move around to find it. Then your fingers will be here on the side. So if you inhale, you should feel that part expand also here. And if it's not, you're just sticking your stomach out. And you may have to move your hand a little bit because in God's creation, we're, whatever you believe, we are not all exactly perfect. So little different things in every person. So if you want to do that breathing properly, use this to check yourself. You'll feel this area filling up. If it just fills up here, you're sticking your stomach out, it's not going to help at all. So back to here. About, I don't know, I would say that's 7 inches, maybe 6.5, I don't know. So very gently. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose if possible, but through the mouth is okay. I try to encourage the people to breathe through the nose totally whenever possible for a couple of reasons. Number one, in the Indian, I think it's Ayurvedic medicine, it's considered that the carbon monoxide helps to clean your nose as it's on the way out. So every little bit helps. Second thing is mouth breathing dries the mouth. And the third thing is if you're in a fight, you're going to get knocked out really quickly if he hits you in the right spot with your mouth open. So relax, relax, relax. Allow the hands to get slightly closer now each time, maybe 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch. When you get down to about 3 inches or 2 inches, you may feel a little denseness between the hands, as if the air is a little thicker, maybe. And maybe your fingertips will get a little tingly or a little heavy feeling. And you get a little closer. It may get a little denser. There may be even a slightly feeling of warmth. When you get down to around 1 inch, slowly rotate the right hand around the palm of the left hand. And at this point, you might have to get a little closer, and everyone's different, and every day is different. You may feel the energy from the right hand moving around the palm of the left hand. Does anyone feel that? Yes? No? Good. If you don't, it just means you should have relaxed a little more and do it a few more times and you will feel it. So that, if you have it, wash it out a little bit. That's your key. That is your essence of life that you were given at birth from your mother and from your parents. And ki does exist. Now, because you can do this, you're not going to shoot flames out of your fingers and all those other things that everybody talks about. But a very short understanding of ki. There's prenatal and postnatal ki. Prenatal ki is what you were born with. There's nothing you can do about that. What governs that are many things. The health of your parents. For instance, when I trained with Shifu Zhao, his wife, who was American, speaks fluent Chinese, and she actually teaches Chinese to American-born Chinese. So she would interpret. And she mentioned that she had lower prenatal chi because she was a preemie baby. She was born at 7 months instead of 9 months. So her prenatal chi was lower than a person similar to her who went to full term. But postnatal chi, that's on us. How we're brought up, the food we eat, exercises, breathing the air. Do we smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day and have a half a bottle of vodka, etc.? So we can control and increase the amount of postnatal chi by our living habits. And yes, there are many other factors, genetics, all of these things. So it's very simple. If we're going from New York to Boston, and I start with prenatal chi over here and you start over there, but I'm a despot, you pass me on the road to Boston. If I start to clean myself up, maybe I catch up. And that's how life is. So we can control our life's energy by the way we live, the way we think, etc., as time passes. And that's one of the reasons that doing Hyung is building ki. All of those things are. And that's all I have for today. And hopefully we can do the next set some other time. And thank you all very much. Subak.
Thank you, sir. Very informative. I'm going to steal some of those things from my session. I'm going to be teaching some seniors, senior mature people on Monday. So I'm going to utilize your lessons.
Well, they're good for everyone, Sabanim. Trust me.
Absolutely.
I have people come into my classes who are in their early 30s who can't do this. They can't. It's like you look at them and say, well, geez, I'm having trouble, but you? Just.
Yes. Okay, real quickly, I'm going to make Mr. Brett, I'm going to make you the, let's see here. I'll make you the co-host.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. So today, what I'd like to share with everyone is we're going to talk a little bit about what happened in the last several sessions. And then we're going to explore a little bit how those lessons that we've been learning about breathing and Hyungs, for example, apply to other areas of our training. So we're going to highlight some of the things in the Chil Hyung, but then we're going to focus on Hangi Hyung. For a couple of different reasons. As we get to that part, I'll kind of explain. So moving back a little bit, we learned from the previous sessions the importance of expansion, contraction, about holding the breath, about cultivating the breath. And that was shared by someone in Kenya in the last session 2 times ago when we were at Nationals. So the first thing I want to highlight is that you'll see a lot of the importance of those things. You know, we all, and I'm kind of teaching to the choir here, but we all know the importance of breathing with motion. Internal and external have to work and fuse together to make our training full. And it's very evident when you see younger practitioners, for example, they're focused on external, and you try to explain to them at their age at that time the importance of Gong training, meditation. And for them, because it's so much slower and they're kind of in the fast lane of life, they have a tendency to avoid it. There does come a time in their life when they recognize the importance of that. So as we mature, that spectrum kind of gets shifted around. And we do have more things that we think they're important to come from the internal to the external. So we're going to start doing some warm-up exercises that'll focus on what we're going to be doing. So the one thing that I teach my students, and I try to maintain myself, is whatever I'm going to be doing, that's how I need to warm up the body. So for example, if we're going to be doing a lot of kicking motions, I focus a little more on the lower body. If we're doing sparring, we might have some fast footwork and exchanges with quicker breathing, so on and so forth. So later, since we're focusing on the hanchi, we're going to focus on the lower body, because as we get older, we all know our knees have a tendency to take some abuse, and maybe our back, just because of the natural course of life. So we'll start off just feet shoulder width apart. Start by shaking the wrists out, and then throwing away some excess energy through the elbows and away. Arm circles. Continuing to kind of loosen up those shoulders that Greenberg gave us some insights to. Reverse it. Good. Now paying attention to the waist. As our waist turns, just let the arms kind of follow where the waist is going. Don't even try to direct them. Think like a little kid at a park when they're spinning in a circle. Body moves, the arms naturally respond. This is the feeling you want to have when you're doing a technique. The arms respond to what the hip motion does, as opposed to the arms going and then the hip motion going. Taking your right arm, reach up, inhale, push away, and then kind of lean over to the side, exhale. Now take another breath in, inhale, and exhale a little bit more. Do it to within your capabilities. One more, inhale and exhale. Okay, and then bringing the other arm up over the head, reaching, exhale. Another breath in, exhale some more. Give your body a chance to adjust to what you're trying to do with it. One more breath in, exhale again. And then back up. And then spreading our feet out just a little bit further. Hands on your knees, just gently kind of bend and let it set for a second. Inhale. And as you go down again, exhale. Don't overforce it. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. And then stepping forward with your left side into Chungul Jasa. Just take a breath in. And naturally let your body drop. Exhale. Not forced, not hard. Find your stopping point. If that's where you can go, give it a second to relax. Take another breath in. And just let it drop naturally. Kind of let nature take its course. Now from here, gently roll back onto the back, raising the front foot up, hands on the knees, take a breath in, exhale into the back leg. Little more breath in, exhale just a little bit further if you're able to. Feel the good stretch. Now place the foot down so it's flat. Inhale and exhale and do the same thing, and you're going to feel something different. You might feel it more on the interior part of the thigh. Another breath in, inhale, exhale. Gently come back to center. Rise up. Now stepping forward with the other leg, we'll repeat the same exercise on the other side. Find the Chil Jasa. Inhale, naturally block. Keep the spine straight and just let it naturally fall. Let gravity be your friend. Another little extra breath in, exhale. Allow it to feel. Allow the energy to kind of flow, let your body know, hey, here's what I'm doing with it, this is what I'm requiring, but we have to do that gently. Hands on the knees, now roll back so the heel on this side is up. Inhale, exhale. Should be feeling it on the back part of the thigh here. Inhale, exhale. Come back to neutral, put the front foot on the ground. Inhale and exhale. Feel a little different stretch, more to the medial side or inner side of the thigh. Inhale, exhale. Come back to neutral, let it settle a second, and then gently rise up. Take a cleansing breath, blow it out. So the first exercise I wanted to focus on, we know about contraction, allowing the body to naturally contract, the wing muscles coming in as the breath kind of cultivates inside. So if we look at, we'll start off with Chil Hyungs. So there's some aspects in there where during some practice, after some of the previous lessons, I went back and kind of re-looked at. And I found some very interesting things. Of things maybe I was missing because I was so worried about getting to the next part, I didn't focus on the present moment as much as I should have. So one of the things was holding the breath or no breath. And we see this in the middle section of Chil Hyungs when we come up to the first section where we had the Kia. Now, Kwon Jae Nim had explained, and Sabam Kenyon shared with us, that in the Kia, we're actually kind of purging the body. And then after the purge, there's a tendency for the body to want to take in that next little bit of air. So if that happens, that's okay, but we need to pause and settle before we're going to the next section. So I'm going to do this facing the opposite way as if we were going down to the floor. So here's the position where there's no breath. Nothing's going on here. So not inhaling or exhaling. And then we draw back. We take that breath in. Our body wants it because we just exhaled and purged it. Then we give the slight compression, settling. And then we finish the breath with the exhale. So a couple of things we're going to do that a couple of times. And what I want you to pay attention to is during a transition when there's no breath, Kwon Jae Nim also explained that this should be personal. Now, if you need to take a breath, it's okay. If not, kind of challenge your warriorship internal, say, well, I'm going to just let it stay there without. And then when we get that breath in, it's a little more meaningful. You know, it's kind of like if you were underwater holding your breath. When you come out of the water, it's that first, it feels so good because it's like, oh, it's back in my body. So we're going to think about holding the breath. The second thing I want you to think about is in our era, we all had maybe pressure cookers growing up. I hated those things. I thought they were going to explode when mom was making dinner. And so the interesting thing, before you open up that pressure cooker, there's a relief valve. And you had to just let a little bit of it out so it didn't blow up when you took the lid off. This is what I think of during this rollback position and the settling. That settling is kind of like that pressure cooker, a little bit out, and then the finish of the breath, and then release. And you'll feel much more empty when you do that, as opposed to just taking it and got it going. We want to get chi or earth energy settled, and then allow it to expand. So we're going to do that section to the push from the Rinjin Kongya a few times. We're going to actually do it on both sides of our body so that we get a nice balance. So starting out with your right side out. Now, if you have knee problems, the other thing I found, especially when we get to Naihanchi Hyung, traditionally it's Kima Jase. However, because of torsion on knees, if you do Sako Lip Jase, it's okay. As long as, and you can't bend so far, it's okay. I actually practice Naihanchi sitting in a chair to force myself to think about my waist and keeping the lower body still. So that's kind of a nice exercise. So let's do the motion in Chosan Ilo Hyung. So starting off in the Winjin Kongyak, looking off the shoulder, allow the hands to naturally come down. Take in air, little pressure cooker. Finish the breath. Good. And again. We'll do it without explanation. Remember, there's no breath during the transition until we start to take in new air. So we just kiopped, we purged, now we're ready to get fresh energy. See? Second time. Air. See? Good. Now we're going to do the exact same thing, which is opposite the way we do it in the form, but it's a good exercise to balance. We're going to extend the other arm out as if we're doing Winjin Kongyak. We're going to the other direction now. So look, I have my left arm out, so the left arm is going to be coming down. Looking, Hana. That's it. Looking, Dobok, no breath. Inhale, little out, finish. Again, please. Settling. Looking, no breath. So hopefully that kind of makes sense about holding, or excuse me, no breath when the body is yearning for new breath. It makes us appreciate the inhale, which has a tendency to fill further. Naturally, they shared about that when you take an exhale, if we just start to normally raise up, there's a little bit of air that comes in. But then we expand that through a bigger breath for whatever exercise we're doing. So the next area is we're going to, in Chosan 1, is we're going to talk about the second half of the Hyung coming back after the middle punch, where we have the rollback motion. Okay, so a couple of things, the technical side of it. Obviously, we have a key up here. Our left side would be forward in Hyung. We roll back. So the first thing is your rear leg has to pivot as we roll back. So this is the exercise. This is the position. What we don't want to do, and you'll see this a lot of times after students learning this, they roll back, but their leg in the back is locked straight, and they have a balance difficulty. So it's important to let that foot roll back sideways. And here, we just key up, right? So there's a nothing. Whatever reserved, we pass out. We let go. Then we take the energy in, we inhale. Again, we settle like we did at the top, and then we push, finishing the breath. So we're going to do this on both sides of the body also. So I have my left side in front, left Chungul Jasa. We just key up, we purge. Now we're going to take some air in, inhaling, the rest of it, settling, And then let the rear knee rotate with the hip as you push. Middle punch. Go back. Inhale. Settle. Again. Purged with the Kia. Okay, now we're going to do the exact same thing off the other side. So other leg in front, I have my right side out as if I was doing the Chungdang Kong Yak. We're going to roll back. Make sure the back knee rotates, just like the Mupal Danko. 1. Settle, elbows, and then allow the back knee to rotate with the hip. Just like this exercise we did in the beginning, the knees are going to respond to the hips so our body kind of works in unification. Whole exercise. In. Again. So, and one technical thing that I found is something I have to kind of remind students is they're not thinking about what this is doing. So the tendency a lot of times is when they drop back, as Greenberg Sabum said, our energy is in the palm heel of our hand. That's where the focus of the drop is. A lot of times you'll see students, they do their fingers kind of this way, down, which is, you know, if you were using it as a defensive motion, you get your fingers broke, right? So we want to kind of think about the energy going down through both heels of the hand. Then as it comes up, we're taking the energy up, pushing the energy down, and then transferring the energy, our key, through the front position. Is that kind of making sense for everybody? I don't have everybody on my screen, so let me see if I can. If anybody have any questions so far?
No, sir.
Are we all good?
Yes.
Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Let's switch over here. Okay, now we're going to go to Chiltang Iro Hyung. So I find this Hyung important because it directly relates to the expansion contraction overall as a Hyung to everything we've been talking about breathing. We have the expansion as in Chungdang Kong Yak of the breath, where the rear opens and then we close. But it also has the contraction this way, where the hands and the body contracts here, and then, excuse me, it opens. So it goes from contraction to expansion and releases the energy. So let's talk about the hand position. And I was just working with a student the other day with this who's fairly new, transferring in from a Tangsil organization and explaining Chilson Irohim to her. And we have to think about this hand. We're reach up with the hands. And of course, most people want to reach, higher than what they are. So if they're that tall, just run because they're too big. So you want to have this natural, about your shoulder height. Now the hands actually have a motion. It is a technique. It's this downward, wrist up, wrist down position. And that comes alongside the knee. As opposed to just straight down without an action. That's important because later in the Hyung, during, like say, Chilsan, or in the other Hyungs, Chilsan Samur Hyung, we see this also like a Yoshek. The hand that's going to the rear starts out the same way and comes to the back and then drives. So we have this motion here, the same as it comes down here. A lot of students just swing it, half the time they're like off center of the body as opposed to aligning it, delivering a yuk pseudo with the front hand and a strong pseudo motion to the backside. So staying with Chilsan Iro Hyung, in the beginning we have that contraction, opening,
and then punch. So we're going to do that exercise a couple of times. Now, if you have difficulty with balance, just do this. Bring your feet together, drive down. If you're unable to raise the leg because of knee problems or balance issues, that's okay. As long as you understand the concept. So the hands are up. So I'll do it in a modification. So everybody extend their hands as if we're grabbing the shoulders. Drive down. Open up the hip and inhale. Punch and punch. So we have inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, finish the exhale. Okay, so we're going to do that section would be the left side, patch side, a couple of times. Stepping forward. I'll do it as a modification to help everybody remind themselves. You don't have to lift the knee if you have problems here. Hana, dual, set net. Again, hands up, Hana. Pay attention to the wrist, dual, set net. Again, Hana, dual, set net. Good. Now let's try it on the other side of the body because then it's bilaterally done. So we're on the other side of the body. Our hands are up. You'd be driving up with your left leg with the murup chagi. We'll just do it. I'll do it as a modification. Hana. But make sure the wrists have an action, a purpose. Inhale. Stepping. Again. Wrists. Hana. Inhale, expansion, contraction. One more time. Hana. Open. 1, 2. Good. I'm going to flip the screen over here so I can kind of see everybody. There we go. I kind of watch you do it there a second. So extend the hands for the reach. Put your, let's do this for the right legs in front. Good. Okay, so we're just going to bring our hands in. Pay attention to the breath and that downward kind of pseudo action. One motion, Hana. Good. Open and then 1, 2. Good. Again. Very good. Reach. Hana. Dual set. Good. A lot of you good. That's good. You're opening up the hip from the contraction, preparing for the expansion. Very nice. Okay, and also in Chil 2, we have the second half, and we have the kick. I want to call it murup chagi achagi, where the hands act slightly differently. As we all know, it's not a pullback with a normal fist position, but rather after this position, they pull back so the hands are what we would think of incorrect position. It's this direction, so the palms are towards the body as opposed to palms up. Very unique, not done a lot like that, so we have to pay attention to that unique move within Hyung. Now, as we do this one, let's talk about that breath here. So first we have kind of emptying and relaxation of the body in the upper. Inhale, exhale. Now, depending on the heights of your hands, if you let your arms naturally fall, almost as if you had a punching position and then brought the arms in. A lot of times you'll see students do this, way up here or really far apart. It's just naturally the same height. I try to focus when I'm doing the kick to have my knee come in between my hands before the kick. So if they're way up here, so you're never going to get your knee that high, and that has the tendency to help them drop. Now, the inhale is on the murup chagi. So we're going to load. We're going to inhale and then extend and let the hands come back. Find our center in a recovery. Step and then repeat the soft area. So we're going to do just that section. So with the left leg in front, inhale, exhale. Knee, extend. Back, excuse me, place it forward. Inhale, extend, exhale. We just exhaled on the kick. So our body is saying, I need air. So when you bring it back, find your center, inhale. So as you step down, the breath can then be released and begun to reload. Okay, let's do that a couple of times. I'm gonna switch over so I can see. So put your left leg in front. Arms crossing, inhale, exhale. Now, if you can raise the knee, fine. If not, just come to this position, but use the hands with the breath. If you can raise the leg, that's great too. Chamber, kick, re-inhale, place, exhale. Okay, one more time. I'm gonna watch everybody here. I'm working on a little phone, so I apologize. Left leg in front. Inhale, exhale. Knee comes in, inhale, exhale, pull. And then new breath. Okay, good. Is there any questions? Okay, so let's go to Chil 3. So in Chil 3, one of our Subakto Kichos is in Hyung, right? Takoshi, the beat drum method. This is a great one to kind of get this activated with our breathing when we're doing it. So just a review, when we have our first motion, we contract and inhale, execute the Sangan Maki, drop the back arm. And then these two work together as it swings up. So we have one, keeping the hands in the same position, just turning the legs and reversing them. The height of the hands are about chin and D. And the fist should be facing forward as if you're wringing out a towel or holding a flagpole. A lot of times you'll see people like, when they do this, it'll be this way, hands sideways. Elbows should be in, and the front of the fist should be facing forward. So let's do that Subakto Kicho Takoshi a few times. Junbi, we'll start with the left side. We'll do each motion by the count, and then we'll do them without count. Hana. Roll back. Do. Keep the arm position, switch. Go ahead. Dashi. Again. Hana. Roll. Set. Good. Now let's try it with no count. Left side. Sijak. And again, same side. Sijak. Okay, now let's try the right side by the count. First the Sandan Maki, contraction. Hana. Inhale. Finish. Again. Hana. Do. So the last two kind of fit together as a team. Part of the breath is on the first one, and the finish of the breath is on the second one, as opposed to exhale, exhale, exhale. It's one. The two are connected in the same breath. Does that make sense? Okay, so one more time, right side going forward, we'll do an out count. Use your own speed, that's fine. We're not timing anybody. Sijak. Dashi. Again, Sijak. Very good. Nice. Yep. Hand position looks good, facing forward. Good. In Chosan Sam, we also have Yoshik, the shake rule method. So when I first explain this to people understanding it, this is a great exercise to start off with. The other thing, I'm a big believer in imagery. And, my dog's not here, but usually if you give a dog a bath, as soon as they get done, it's natural for them to do what? They shake from the center and the water goes away. That's yoshik. The hip, the center moves and the energy dissipates. So if we think of that here, when we do yoshik, we start out with a reverse side first. The front hand is yoksudo, and here's that backhand that we learned in Chilsan Iro here to the back side. And then the hip just twists, there's the shake, and it follows that motion into the punch. So the motion is hana, duo. Okay, so let's try the yoshik stepping with the left side. Right hand's gonna go first. Front hand is yoksudo. Rear hand is a sudo with an action, not just a swing. Get that little snap like we used in Chilsan Iro. Try it with a, if you want to do something fun, get a small board and just try that. Fingertips up on the board, and then go through with that. And you can see just in that small amount of area the power of that downward action. It's a really cool kind of break to try. Okay, left side in front. Right hand to the rear. Yoshik. Hana. Duo. Step. Make sure you purge. Because then you need, if you're stepping, you need that air again on the next motion. Again, same side of the body. Hana. Duo. Step. Okay, look, try up she with no count now. Yoshik. Sijak. See? One more time, left side. Sijak. Okay, let's do it right side now, stepping forward. Left hand will go first with the yoksudo. Right hand has that pseudo snap motion. Hana. Duo. Set. Oro. Same side again. Prepare. Hana. Duo. Set. Good. Let's try it up she with no count. Right side stepping, left hand going first. Sijak. Very nice. Again, same side. Sijak. Excellent. Bottom. Sure. Good. Okay, so I just wanted to highlight a couple of those areas that we have opportunities to reinforce the lessons that we're learning in Sabdankumyang in other areas of our training. We don't want to just say, oh, well, we do this just here. We all know that it has to incorporate in Gicho, Ishishtek, Hosen, so on and so on and so on. By doing so, we create a habit. We want to create a good, positive habit. And as Greenberg said, in his presentation, how we live our life creates longevity. We can either shorten it or lengthen it. Now, I'm not the perfect person in the world, but we try our best to do so. So I think by doing this, though, our breathing, our negung, is constantly in our awareness while we're doing Weigang exercises. Okay, so let's go into Naihanchi Chodan. I'm sure when you all first did Naihanchi Chodan, I can look back at my Chodan test and watch me do that form, and I think I was going 9,000 miles an hour. I was young, I was 130 pounds, and speed was my buddy, right? So, but it's not that way at all with Naihanchi. And I really didn't understand it till almost my Samdan test. I had just happened to have Samdan John Johnson come up, and I just first met him, and he came up to help me prepare for my Samdan test. And he says, what do you need help with? And I told him Naihanchi Samdan. It just didn't like click in my head. Everybody's got one of those forms that just doesn't kind of capture. That was mine. So he said, okay, let's do Naihanchi Chodan first. Well, we did it about 20 times. This is in my garage, no air. So I'm starting to get drenched. He goes, okay. And he pointed out a couple things. All right, now let's Naihanchi Idan. Same thing. About 20 times. And my speed started to go away. And he goes, good. Now we can start and understand SMDI and the concepts of Naihanchi. Slower, heavier. So really, at our stage in our life, this is a great Hyung to practice. It's short, has great benefits with breathing, expansion, contraction, makes you feel, I don't know, kind of bigger than life, kind of engages your spirit. So we're going to go through it. Now, a couple of things I want to point out. One of my personal little things when I have students doing this is their eye focus. Where do my eyes go? Now, if you just simply said, look before you go, like crossing the street, it makes sense until they try to do the Hyung, and then they don't quite know where to look. So I'm going to do just the first part, and I'll talk about where the eyes should be. Forward. Oh, sorry. Thinking backwards for it. Now, at this point, you look. 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to look to your other side because we're going to block that way. A lesson that Hangi taught me years ago. Look where you're going, but your instincts are on the front. Pause, then look. 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 Look center, because we want to prepare. Look, rotation, first half. Is everybody kind of in agreement with that? Like I say, I'm just highlighting things. I'm sure a lot of you already know that, but I think it's important to, where the eyes go, the body knows what's needed. And if our intent, is not there, this action is kind of empty. Okay. So let's do just the first half of Naihanchi Chodan. Everybody good with Naihanchi Chodan? I think, Mr. Brent, you probably just tested on it, right? So you should have an expert demonstration. Okay. All right, here we go. Regular Chunbi. When it comes to the Kima Jasa, use your own discretion. It's your body. It's okay. The Naihanchi Chunbi. One motion. Hana. Look, dual. Set. Elbow, look front. Net. Look to your left. Block. Cover. Keep looking that direction. Cross step, pause. Look to the front. Anaso block. Adan Kong Yak. Pull out. Rotate. Should be right in front of the face. Think of a hammer fist, not just a block. Look to your left. Raise and block to the outside. Rotate the hand away. Look to the right side. Repeat. Look to the front. Settle. Wind up the hip. Rotate the hands. Kia. Baro. Okay, we're going to do that first part a few times here. Regular Chunbi. I'm going to kind of watch here and get in my screens here. Okay. Naihanchi Chodan Chunbi. First motion. Il. Look. E. Sam. Sa. O. Cover. Keep looking that way. Cross step 1. Look front. Block. Attack, punch, pull out, in. Look over the outside angle, 1. Other angle, 2. Recover to center, 3. Wind up the hip, and 4. Beautiful, very nice. Photo. Okay, we're going to do that up sheet at first half, no count. So you take it in the speed you need to maintain the integrity and health of your body here. So let's just quickly talk about breathing. Inhale, slight exhale, right? As the knee comes up, we inhale, we exhale. Every time your hip cocks, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Nothing. No breath. When the leg comes up and we look forward, inhale, exhale. Draw the hip back for the punch. Inhale, exhale, open. Exhale. Leg comes up. We inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Settle. As the hip winds, we inhale so we can purge on the key up and fully empty everything. Okay. 준비. 네, 한치 초단 준비. We're going to do this up chi, no count. Ready? 시작. Good. Good. Bottle. Good. Okay, so the beauty of this form is once you learn one side, it mirrors the other side. So that's what's nice about it. So I think instead of taking it by steps, we kind of understand the concepts the first side. We're just going to apply them to the second side. I think everybody should be okay with that. So we're going to do it by the count. So a couple of things after the let's see here, key up on the first side, it begins its repetitive action. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look where you're going. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continuing to the key up at the end. Okay. All right. 준비. Sorry. Okay. We'll do it by the count. Ready? 나 한치 초단 준비. Ready. 하나. 둘. 셋. 넷. 다섯. 여섯. 일곱. Pause. Block. Strike. Pull. In. To the outside. 1. Opposite angle. 2. Recover center. Wind up. Look. Kia. Purge. Hana. Hand out. Elbow. Dual. Set. Net. Cross step. Pause. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the outside angle. Hana. Look where you're going. Good. Other angle. Look. Then go. Beautiful. Center. Wind up. Purge. And butto. Very nice. And 준비. Shiro. Good. Looks good. Like I say, we all kind of know this one, but as I find it's fun to revisit this young, I like to do this if I'm feeling kind of like my energy's not like up. I'll do this one because it's not fast. So it kind of gets my body going. It makes me feel strong, right? So a couple of things I found, we think of this maybe as a block. Think of it as a strike. And your energy goes to the heel of the hand rather than down here in the forearm. I mean, this is a great strike. If you think about it, you're fighting and you come in with a kwando kongyak, that's a great technique. The other thing that we want to make sure our students are aware of is when they strike with a downward strike, they have a tendency to miss. They go way over to the side. And we want to make sure it's going front. So my picture in my mind is I'm grabbing the top of some person's uniform, Dobok clothes. I'm pulling them into me as I'm striking. Now they're bent over, right? If you got hit, you're pulling to go like this. So think about this hand coming out as a back fist. And then a kwando. So we're going to hit instead of just block. It changes the dynamics of it. So we're doing kwangongyak and kwando kongyak. A few years ago, Sabrin Bonsignori, I was able to do 2 of his clinics at 2 different nationals. And he taught Naihanchi Chodan as all wrist grabs. And so I researched it. And it's fascinating. There's no strikes. Everything was a like Hosen full technique. Because think about it. Naihanchi is what? Negaru. In your house. You're not going out after them. So if we think about that point, when we do this, have you ever seen students do this? Right? Because they're thinking about going out. You really want to think about bringing them in, bringing them into your house, to you, as opposed to going out after them. That way you don't break the integrity of the Kimajasa. And you stay within the framework of Negaru, which is totally opposite of almost everything else we do, right? Everything else is almost Wegaru. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to share with you, since you're all kind of senior practitioners and things, you probably know number 1, number 2, and number 3, right? Or Mr. Brent, you're going to be starting at number 2, right? Okay. So here's a great exercise. Did you ever wonder why Naihanchi Chodan is the only one of those 3 with its own particular chinbi? Everything else starts out from here, right? Number 2, Iban. Number 3, Samban is this way. They don't have a chinbi. Theoretically, from what I've researched over the years, supposedly this was one Hyung. And it was then broken into 3. So here's a great way to practice it. Practice Ilban or Naihanchi Chodan. At the finish of it, right from there, go into number 2. When you get done with number 2 at the last motion, go right into number 3. Now, each form is what, about 24 movements each, 20, 40, 60, 80 some moves is a nice little workout for your lower body, your hoodie, slow but purposeful, dynamic breathing. So it really takes on a Negaru feeling when we talk about all of our soft breathing, maybe harder breathing when we're doing a regular technique. But Naihanchi gives us the opportunity to explore in our time, our speed, dynamic, good abdominal breathing connected with our physical technique. So I hope that kind of helps you kind of think about applying even in these motions here that we were doing, the importance of expansion, contraction in everything we do, not just there where we have tendency to maybe focus it because we're learning it. Chilsang is the beauty of soft and hard, the and yang and the flux of it all. We have yang, as we explored that a few times ago. That's one of my favorite forms. In my viewpoint, the lessons of Chilsang are all right in number 1. And I found it fascinating that when it first came out, as many of you know, remember how these used to flip around and who was required to do what? And Chilsang, when they first came out, Chilsang 1, 2, and 3 came out, right? In the 80s, or early 80s. Well, then all of a sudden, boom, 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 it got switched and they put number 1 before 2. And then they moved them up the scale of rank. And I was like, well, you could see why, because the intricate parts of Chilsang 1, hard, soft, same time, breathe out, students weren't ready for it. And the founder recognized that. Parallel to that, zip back when the pin-on Hyungs came out. Matarayosu had taken the Hyungs, those kata, and broke them into 5, took out the deadly aspects, and introduced it into the school systems. Because the Japanese didn't think it'd be worthwhile, because the Japanese at that time didn't know what karate was. And so when they found out how healthy the Okinawan people were, like, well, something's going on with these guys. What are they doing? Well, I explained it, but they didn't take it into, okay, whatever. Until they introduced it into the school systems. And the first person the Arus taught it to was not the students, it was to the teachers. And then the teachers started to apply it in their, what we call PE kind of thing format to strengthen their bodies. But I found it interesting because remember, pin-on, chodan, pin-on, idan, when we do it, are reversed. Same thing as the Chilsang ones. I found that kind of fascinating. Just fluke, but whatever. Does anybody have any questions here? No? Okay. I'm gonna switch screens and go back to my other room, to the main screen, so I can see everybody. We can talk just a little bit more here.
Yes, sir. We'll go through some questions. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Kanarin. Yes.
Me, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Down here.
That was fascinating what you said about that they are one elongated form. That being the case, would at the end of the third, would you then do the Naihachi Chumbi again at the very end?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm going by historical perspectives, but yes, you could do that. That would be, yeah, kind of close it. So we all know that the original name of Naihanchi was Neibojin. And that means inward step advance. So here's a little thing you can play around with. When you start Naihanchi Chodan, put something on the floor where you're starting. Then do the Hyung. You'll find out you'll be about 2 feet further forward than you did when you started. Because every time you cross step on both sides, you start advancing forward. And then you can take the same concept, put a little something on the floor, do it and do all three, and you'll end up about 5 feet further out than where you started. So it kind of goes along with the concept of inward step advance. You know, theories have said that Naihanchi Hyung was you had your back against the wall or fighting on a boat dock or whatever, right? But whatever those theories are, there's a lot of them out there from my research. I think its benefit is close quarter combat. You know, you're bringing them into your house, doing something. And when I was out in Region 10 this summer, I taught about the whole camp. I focused on Negaru. And even doing Hyungs, even Kicho, without a step. Right from the beginning, you do block, punch, change directions. And you're almost like in a square, but you're doing it quickly as if you're in your house rather than going outside. And then I had some people sit around them, and I put 2 people in the middle, and they had a free spar with about, 3.5 feet. And all of a sudden, they had to totally think differently. In a negative, okay, I can't do a spin heel. He's like right here. So they started utilizing techniques from Naihanchi. I was like, oh, see, there's a benefit. It's going to work in some cases, not in others, but I think it's something it's fun to consider and fun that keeps you intrigued, sparks your thought process and your creativity.
Sir, one more if I may, sir.
Absolutely.
Back up about 15 minutes. We did the high block. And then this technique.
Yes.
Could you please explain the practical application of this?
Sure. If you look at, so we're given one example in one of our Holshin Soul. So in one of our Holshin Soul with the sleeve grabs, we come above and below the arm that's grabbing us to break the elbow. So the arm's here. The bottom one is driving up from underneath the arm while the other one's coming on top, and the arm is in between as a braking motion. This motion, the other thing I find very useful is a lot of times students will leave this here, drop the back arm. But if you drop the elbow in front of the face, we have a blocking motion. So if somebody was punching, we have one block. I could grab his arm, right? And come up from underneath the elbow with this upward strike motion to, damage his arm. Does that give you some maybe thoughts?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then the second one, grab here and do the same thing on the other side.
Think of another area you could think of pin on chodan. When you go up the center the first time, you have a low block, then a pseudomaki, right? What's the next technique is the high block. Okay, well, if the person was attacking me with an apchagi, I'm blocking. Then he's, front kick punch. I block the kick. I block the arm. I grab the arm. And as I step in, I'm coming underneath and using my Sangdan Maki as a braking technique. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
That's kind of an interesting way to apply the concept a little bit. You're staying with the motion, but you're applying it outside the box of what you maybe think it is.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure. Greenberg, Simon? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your presentation. That was excellent, by the
Well, thank you. It's always fun to do. I want to mention, if anybody wants to do this, many years ago, Master Judy Sudak and myself used to do this for demonstrations. We did Ninhachi Chodan back to back. So one person did it in reverse and the other person did it, and we had a break on each end. When we came to this, instead of doing it traditional, we would load it and do the break. But it's kind of if you have someone else in the school that does it with you, it's a good way to get the concept of what Sabanim was saying of fighting against the wall, because it's as if the two of you are back to back fighting people on each side, but you're doing the same techniques. Sort of, I guess, reverse mirror image, I don't know. But
Yeah,
so one person's doing the regular way, the other person's doing it in reverse, but it was kind of a lot of fun. Sabanim, when you were looking up Ninhachi forms, did you find that there were actually 5 originally?
yes, there's a theory of that. It was mentioned a couple of times in all the things I had found over the years, but I hadn't ever seen anything beyond that. So I'm not quite sure.
There's also a book, and I think it's out of print. I know I gave a copy to Howard Sabanim by a fellow named Johnson, who was a Tung Sudo practitioner. I'm going back in the 80s now. And there was a book about this thick, and the entire book was Ninhachi. Every technique was a takedown, the whole book. So that was an interesting view, another view of the same kind of thing. It was kind of an interesting. I'll see. I'm sure there must be an old copy somewhere I could find.
Yeah, I have one book. It's by 2 wushu people that do Ninhachi, and they cover in the book of them being wrist grabs and takedowns.
Right.
It's called Shaolin something. I can't remember.
Well, you can see a lot of the motions you can see as chinas. You can see where they're going to be in there. But the takedown thing was kind of interesting to me. Just a lot of twisting takedowns. It was very interesting.
I think that's the beauty of us being mature practitioners. We've been through so many different things over our lives. And, yes, we know the standardization of things, but I think at our stage, it's really enjoyable to say, okay, what can I do with it? How does it apply to me? How would I apply this? And I think staying creative in our life as Greenberg Sabanim, and continuing to grow our chi through creativity with our family, our loved ones, our friends. I like to cook. I like to do all kinds of different things, but somehow in all of that, I find the art. The art directs me somehow. And that's where I really get the most joy out of what we're doing. And working with people like you and watching you explore this is my heart's always full. It really is. Because a lot of you are the foundation of the art. With Sabanim Cortese here, I mean, sir, you've been, you are like one of the building blocks of the whole organization. And to have you present with us is truly an honor.
Thank you.
Years ago, I'm just going to ask you a question. Years ago, they had I think it was the one and only winter camp in Florida when the founder was supposed to be there. And it ended up, because it ended up being kind of light, the founder didn't come, but of course, Kwang Jae Nim did. And we were outside in Florida. It was really hot. We were in the field, and I think we were learning to, Hyungs, but he didn't know about fire ants. And he said, we're not sitting very long. Do you remember that, sir?
I did. I mentioned to Kwang Jae Nim, I said, the fire ants have gotten me. He said, oh, that's not a problem. It'll be okay. He didn't have us move until he got bit. And he said, okay, we're moving.
Well, the beauty of that whole story is you were the person that personally picked me up from the hotel or from the airport. And at that time, I was a Samdan. And you left such an impact on me that I have never forgot that whole time period. And so
thank you very much.
It really was special.
Thank you very much.
It was kind of nice. If you were a Samdan, there was like 4 Kodanji, every one Dan, and there wasn't very many Dan. So we had lots of advice given to us from a variety of, but it was really interesting. But that's what we all share memories. We all share very good memories of hardship and of good times. And that's what the Silver Mudo program is also about. We're all on common ground. It's not just about rank. It's about our shared experience of the love and the passion of the art, and you being here and continuing that journey at wherever you're at in your life. It never stops. You cannot not be a martial artist ever again. It is ingrained in your being. So I see Bonavant Kyobam Nim is on there. I know he's been going through quite a bit of difficult things. So our continued prayers and energy are to you, sir. And I see Wilcox Sabonim from Maui is on here. Thank you for stepping in and joining us, sir. It's always a pleasure to have both of you with us. I know the time zones are very different for everybody, so I appreciate coming to support. The next session, we're going to work out some details, but it'll end up being the same time as the Moment with the Masters in the United States. So we're going to see what the TAC and Kwang Jin would like to do about that. Would be our international class. And in December 21st would be our Zone 2 class. Now we know that's close to the holidays and Christmas, but we'll try to inform you as soon as possible with all the logistics of both of those sessions as soon as we find out information.
I have a couple of comments.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Speaking mostly as a senior in a Hukinen, one of the things that we're missing here is no necklaces under your toe box.
Oh, yes, sir.
And no t-shirts. No t-shirts under your toe box. I remember the founder saying at one time, he said he was at a Don testing, and a guy was wearing a t-shirt, and Kwang Jin Wang Ki said, no t-shirts, definitely not. He said that toe box, the whole toe box needs to touch the body. The t-shirt is impeding that. So t-shirts under the toe box are not allowed.
Yes, sir.
No jewelry as well, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I apologize for that.
I hate to be a little,
No, that's okay, sir. I work in surgery and usually I take it off, and I was getting dressed, and it was a gift after my brother passed away, so I kind of never take it off. So I do apologize for that.
Oh, okay. I understand.
It's still no excuse, sir. You're right. I remember that story quite eloquently. So
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hate to be a heavy hand.
No, sir, that's okay. What's the saying in Korean? Those you care about, you spank. Those you don't, you give candy to.
That's true.
So thank you for the spanking. I appreciate it.
That's true. Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
Okay.
And that was a good presentation too, by the way. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, sir. That means a lot. If anybody else doesn't have any questions, we'll go ahead and bow out.
Okay.
Okay. Juliet, Cookie, Bere, Poro, Standing, Munyang, Baro, Sabonimke, Kunye,
Subak.
Subak.
Fuck.
Well, thank you all for being here. Nice seeing you.
You too, sir, and thank you for supporting.
Thank you. You're welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
So-
I could use a few prayers myself, by the way.
Absolutely.
I had foot surgery on my right foot. I had all 4 toes done, and it's been 8 weeks, and my foot is still swollen.
Oh,
So I appreciate your prayers.
absolutely.
Thank you.
I hope your healing process goes well and continued.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. Everybody have a very enjoyable autumn weekend. Weather here is beautiful, so enjoy the change of seasons. As I always say, this is the season of the dawn. This is our harvest season, so it's
Yeah. Great.
it's our time.
Yes. Thank you all once again. Nice seeing everyone. Bye. Can you take your name off of my
You
photo?
you actually have to do that on yours.
How do I
On
do
your
that?
end.
How do I do that?
Bottom of the screen, there should be something or an upper right corner where the little dots are.
A little blue square in the upper right corner, Sabine,
Little blue square.
and there's 3 white dots in it.
No, I don't
Well,
see
you
it.
have to run your pointer over it for it to pop up. So if you put your pointer in the upper right-hand square, your right-hand square,
Yeah, no. Hmm. No, I don't see it.
well, actually, I have it on yours. I'm
Um,
on yours and I can see it.
let me see.
It's
Change theme, full screen, gallery. Is it on the
not
gallery?
that far up. It would be right on your screen,
On your picture, sir.
on your picture.
Oh, on my picture. Oh, I see it. Okay, now I got it.
And then
Okay,
it'll
so-
let you change your name. If you hit one of those dots, it will pop up.
All right, what do I do? View profile?
So if you hit those 3 dots, sir,
Yep.
and you go down, so you should then have a dialog box open up just to
Yep.
go all the way down to the bottom. It says rename.
Oh, rename. Yes, got it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem, sir.
So how many codons does it take to change your name?
Well,
Evidently a few.
yeah, two plus a go.
I gotta fix it again.